Despite being responsible for 95% of the male nudity I've seen in my lifetime, Game of Thrones is an absolutely awesome TV show with some really cool music that is worth discussing because it is an excellent study in parallel major minor and also arpeggios. So let's get to it. I'm going to do kind of a loop and then play the lead part on top of it, and it's going to sound something like this. So basically, that's kind of the main part. We're going to talk about the chords in a second, but first I want to start out with the opening intro kind of arpeggio thing. And basically that part is kind of played by itself, and it sounds like this. And all this is a very simple arpeggio. So we have kind of two parts. We're going to start with the 10th fret on the A string. And you notice I have a capo on the 3rd fret, but that only really gets to the chord part. So we got the 10th fret on the A string, to the 8th fret, to the 11th fret on the E string, to the 8th fret on the A string. So it's kind of like a 4-note thing that repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now, if we actually look at it, even though it's kind of emphasizing this note right here, we're going to perceive this as the 5th of a chord. So our root note is going to be here on 8E. And you can kind of see these, if we play those 4 notes in order, you might see that as the beginning of like a pentatonic shape, right? You can see that as like the minor scale. But really what that is if we take the minor scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the notes would be 5, 3 or 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, as far as like a minor arpeggio. So if this is our root note, here's the root, minor 3rd, 5th. That's a 3-note triad arpeggio. This would be a C minor. And then we kind of add that 4th to kind of get passed into the next note, right? So if we had to play a chord over this, it would be a C minor chord, which with the capo on the 3rd fret is A minor, okay? So it's really just a C minor chord. And then after a few passes around that, we change one note. There's the first part. Now we're gonna raise that minor 3rd, and now we've got 8 to 12. 8, 12, 8, 10. So basically what we've done, just by transforming that 3rd, that minor 3rd, one note higher, we get a major 3rd. Because if you take the C major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have a major arpeggio, okay? So the beginning kind of transforms from C minor to C major, which is kind of like what we would call the parallel minor key of major, just major to minor off the same root note back and forth, kind of opposites, almost like fire and ice. So that's just kind of the intro to kind of like cause a little bit of confusion. Is this in C major or is this in C minor? Now once the rest of it comes in, it's firmly established in that minor key because it's just a minor chord to E minor, which would really be a G minor without the capo, to a G major, again, which would be B flat without a capo, to, we're gonna call this kind of like a D suspended chord, even though it's more minor than it is major. And again, that would be like a F without a capo, okay? Now, the next part I want to talk about is kind of the lead part that happens over those chords, which sounds like. So let's break this into 4 parts to go over those 4 chords. The first one being here. Okay, right here, if we start on the 12th fret of the G string, then go to the 10th fret of the D string, its minor 3rd, the 13th fret of the D string, to the 10th fret of the G string. You can see this is really just an octave higher of the. Okay? So really we've kind of got just an arpeggio that goes over an accompanying chord. And we're going to take that all the way to the 12th fret of the D string, okay? Now, once we get here, and again, so the arpeggio that this would be is actually just a C minor arpeggio, an octave up, which goes over the C minor chord, or we can think of it as an A minor arpeggio that goes over the A minor chord if you're thinking of the chords in relation to the capo, okay? So after our first C minor arpeggio, it's gonna bring us up to here, which is really, again, just another arpeggio. And this is gonna be a G minor arpeggio. Here's that G. And even though I say it like a G minor arpeggio, again, a minor triad is only 3 notes. So it would be the first, the minor third, and the fifth. We're adding that fourth into the arpeggio. 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5. I'm still thinking of it as a minor arpeggio with that fourth note kind of added. It's just an easier way for me to kind of remember it. Then after that, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna take it all the way to the 10th fret of the G string. And then just like before, all the other arpeggios, we started with the 5th of the chord. Bum, bum. There's our root note, which is a C. It's over the C minor arpeggio. 5, 1, the 5th of our root note, which is a G over the G minor arpeggio, just like this happens here. 5, 1. Now what note is this? This is a G, it's technically B flat, G in relation to the capo, over that G chord. Now if you notice, in those chords we used earlier, E, G major, that's the first major one that comes in. So it would make sense to take that major arpeggio, and that's how it's different. Instead of a minor third, like the other arpeggios had, now we have a major third. Okay, so this is the 5th of the chord, the 10th fret on the G string to the 8th fret on the D string, a major third, which is the 4th fret reach, to the 12th fret on the D string, to the 8th fret on the G string. And then we're just kind of gonna tie the whole thing together with this little, not really an arpeggio, but just almost like a lick or a phrase to get us back into the position we need to go. So this right here is going to be the 8th fret on the G string to the 7th, twice, up to 8D, and then that slides from 8 to 10. And that puts us back in that kind of spot to play the whole thing again. So again, really cool theme song, a great lesson in just moving arpeggios around with chords, and a little bit of that parallel minor thing thrown in. Very good musical song, one of the great themes of all time. So if you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I will talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.